Buddy. I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am joined today by Leslie Zucker and our technical team. A big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls, and to our digital docents who are managing our streaming. If you're technically inclined, we invite you to reach out to our office and find out more how you can get involved. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, prayer pages and helpful links can be found in the comments. If you're joining us on the virtual sanctuary, on the other hand, you can find everything right above the player. On Facebook Live, we invite you to say hello by typing Shabbat Shalom in the comments line. Don't forget to hit return. If you need technological assistance, please text 913-303-1134 and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. For those of you here in person, just a reminder to mute or silence all your electronic devices. And we're also calling the pages in the numbers that are in the brackets. Let's see if it works. 186 is where we continue together with Mode Ani.
Nice. Paying attention.
I'm saving my voice for the wedding I have this evening. So we continue together on page 194, middle of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings, if it well known before your throne of glory, that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. 196. Ways
He's
to
getting
express
good, isn't he?
Page 198, we together offer blessings for our daily miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר נתן לשך ובינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פוקח עברים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מתיר אסורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף כפופים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם רוקע ארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן ליעף כוח. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המעביר שינה מעיני ותנומה מאף אפי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בצלם אלוהים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בת חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
We continue together at the top of page 212 as we chant together the opening lines of Pezuke, the Zimbra verses of praise.
Baruch Shemar ve'haya haolam baruch hu. Baruch Oseh ve'cheshit. Baruch Omer ve'oseh. Baruch Ozer u'makayim. Baruch merachem al haaretz. Baruch merachem al habriot. Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireav. Baruch ha'elad v'kayam lanetzach. Baruch bodeh u'matzil. Baruch Shemo.
In the middle of page 214, we join our voices in singing Tzadik Katama, right in the middle.
Tzadik Katama yifrach, Erez balanon balanon yizkeh, Sheturim bebeit Adonai, Bechazrot Eloheinu yafiru, Od yenuvu beseva, Besheitim verananim lehayit ki asher Adonai tzuri ve'lo.
Service continues on page 218 as we conclude this part of the songs of praise with words from Psalm 150. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Our service continues with Baruch Hu on page 226. If you're able, please stand and join us. In the middle of page 228, we will sing together Or Chadash, and immediately after that on page 232, we will continue with the Shema and Ve'ahavta.
Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavecha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'nibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לעולכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Continue together at the top of page 239.
Sorry, I was just excited.
There is no place where you are not, even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lighting, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice.
Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atarav lehoshia, Mahashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalchel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, U'matich asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. כמוך בגבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. לקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמעתי שמות ובשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה על זה בימיו. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו אדוני, אדונינו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ובכינו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישביענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד קולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. שים שלום טובה וברכה, אין בה חסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, אין בה חסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. ברכנו יוצאנו, יוצאנו, ברכנו יוצאנו, יוצאנו, כולנו כאחד, כאחד, באור בדרך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, אין בה חסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, אין בה חסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך.
We continue with the service for the reading of the Torah begins on page 367 with Romemu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו,
Just wanted you to know, I can only do this when I'm not singing, because if I'm singing and doing this, it doesn't work yet.
It's complicated.
It's I lose the rhythm or the words, one or the other. Just a reminder to everybody that you can find a link to the reading for this morning in the e-news and also in the comments. This morning we are reading from the Haftarah, and that will be from the book of Malachi, chapter 2, verses 1 through 7. When the time comes, we'll let you know. It is on one of the pages. I don't want you to open the book yet, because I want you to pay attention to what I have to say. You're fine, thank you. The prophet Malachi, for those of you who are not quite familiar with him, it's a relatively late prophet from around the 5th century, and it is a prophet who speaks mostly about the beginnings of the Second Temple period. The First Temple period ends technically and dramatically on 586 BCE with the destruction of, you guessed it correctly, the First Temple. And then after that comes the Second Temple. And Malachi lives during the times of the Second Temple. And this particular Haftarah that goes with the Torah portion that this week is Toledot addresses some of the issues that Malachi sees as he witnesses the building, very modest building, by the way, at the very beginning of the Second Temple period. The big building for the Second Temple does not happen until the times of Herod, so-called the Great. There was not a lot great about him, but that's how he's called. So in times of Herod, then the building is really given a wonderful renewal and renovations and a lot of the stuff. When you go to Israel, or if you're already been there and you go visit Temple Mount, the kinds of things that you see underground are from Herod's temple, not from the time of Malachi, which is about 500 years before that. Anyways, so Malachi sees something that the prophet Isaiah had already pointed out. This is second Isaiah, and we talked about this in the past. The guy that we call second Isaiah, beginning on chapter 40, lived later than the first Isaiah, and he is an anonymous prophet as far as anybody can tell. And he has a lot to say about how the rituals at the temple were conducted and how those particular rituals were empty of any prayers, of any spiritual content, if you want, because at the same time that people were offering these sacrifices, they were neglecting the moral and ethical teachings of Judaism, so it made the sacrifices something less relevant. In terms of Malachi, one of the issues was that, and we don't know historically if this is because they had not a lot of cattle and other kinds of animals, but he complains that people will bring different kinds of animals that were not completely pure, that they were blemished, as if they were not really caring about the sacrificial cult itself. Now, the interesting piece is that the connection between the Torah and Haftarah has nothing to do with the subject of the Haftarah. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does. I told you already, it has to do with the neglect of the sacrificial cult. And the last section we're going to actually read comes from the book of the second chapter of Malachi about the reestablishment of the Levites and the priests. But at the very beginning, in the context of Malachi complaining about the situation at the temple, he uses a rhetorical question from God saying, have I not loved or accepted Jacob and not Esau? Oh, there you go. Because, that's it. That's all you're going to get. Because the Torah portion this week is Parashat Toledot, which begins with these are the generations or the history of Isaac, but it's really about Rebekah and Jacob and about the birth and all the issues that happen between Jacob and Esau and Rebekah's predilection for Jacob over Esau. And there are some parallelisms there as well in which the way that Rebekah speaks about Jacob is the same way that God speaks about the Jewish people in this Haftarah. But beyond this whole comparison between Esau and Jacob and the people of Israel later on, there's also a whole story in the Haftarah as well about Edom and all that, which we're not going to read. But the section we're going to read is a very famous section from this week, from the book of Malachi. And the famous words are Torah emet befia. So the Torah of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found on his lips. It talks about a Levite or a priest who serves God dutifully is someone that the Torah of truth is in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. Where else in the Hebrew Bible do we find very similar words to describe an individual? Some of you might have encountered in your readings or maybe in life a section from the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, that is traditionally recited by the husband to the wife on Erev Shabbat. Some of you at home may know this. This is the very famous passage called the Eshet Chayil, or in Yiddish, the Eshes Choyel, which is the same thing. This interesting connection was pointed out to me by Rabbi Stein in the Women's Haftorah commentary. And Rabbi Stein suggests that she finds a resonance on this verse in Malachi and Proverbs 31:30, which is the Eshet Chayil. And it says something like that, Eshet Chayil mi imtza, who can find a woman of valor? And here's a quote, her mouth opens with wisdom, and the Torah of loving kindness is on her tongue. Torah temet befia. So the words of exactly like the Levites. And she points out then, Rabbi Stein, a whole comparison between the situation of the Levites, the Leviim, and women in ancient Israel, which may help us talk a little bit about what was their function. And you will say, well, wait a minute. Priests were only men, there were no women. I don't think that's where she's going with this. Where she's going with this is that the priests and women seem to have very similar characteristics. And traditionally, women would have different jobs than men, and so the Levites will have different jobs than the rest of the Israelites, because they will take care of the temple, and women will take care of the house. And in that regard, neither women nor Leviim were drafted in the army. Nowadays, of course, those things have changed. We do have women who work outside the house and also are eligible for the armed forces. But those in attendance at the place of worship and those attending to the family home were indispensable and could not be separated for battle in ancient Israel. And she concludes teaching that Malachi speaks to men only in chapter 1, which is the first part which we're now reading. And he speaks only to those who are required to bring sacrifices, specifically unblemished animals, the best of the herd. Yet the qualities of those to whom God is speaking are articulated. Those same qualities are found in the Eshet Chayil. Just as the Levi is called a messenger or angel of Adonai, Lord of hosts, so too is the woman of valor and all the women of valor today. Might we not see the valorous women in our lives who preserve our heritage as the Levi'im of Judaism today? This is a more traditional approach, I think. Is not, Rabbi Stein, I think, is more traditional in that approach. But I really opened up my mind to see how both groups, Levi'im and women, had a similar task in that they were taking care of things. One's in the house of God, and the other ones did that in the actual homes. Otherwise, the whole Malachi prophecy is a very downer. But it ends in a very positive note. And I would like to invite Dave Zucker today, who's going to do the blessings. He's going to turn the mic on for himself and then come and do all the things. Yeah. And we are on page 342 in the Plaut Chumash. And the blessings for the Haftarah can be found on page 372 of your Siddur.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah u'moshe avdo u'v'yisroel amo u'v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. And now, O priests, this charge is for you. Unless you obey and unless you lay it to heart and do honor to my name, said the Lord of hosts, I will send a curse and turn your blessings into curses. Indeed, I have turned them into curses because you do not lay it to heart. I will put your seed under a ban, and I will strew dung upon your faces, the dung of your festal sacrifices, and you shall be carried out to its heap. Know then that I have sent this charge to you so that my covenant with Levi may endure, said the Lord of hosts. I had with him a covenant of life and well-being, which I gave to him, and of reverence, which he showed me, for he stood in awe of my name. Proper rulings were in his mouth, and nothing perverse was on his lips. He served me with complete loyalty and held the many back from iniquity. For the lips of a priest guard knowledge, and men seek rulings from his mouth, for he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts. Yes.
We had to get to the good part, otherwise.
Yeah, it's definitely got a bit of a dark bit in the middle. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik bechol harorot ha'el haneman haomer v'yoseh hamdaber umkayem shechol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah v'al havodah v'al hanviim v'al yom haShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך, ומברכים אותך, יפרח שמחה, בפי כוחי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Yasher koach.
From the days of Adonai
In Israel.
in Israel.
As we gather on this Shabbat, we turn our thoughts and prayers to those in need of healing. You may access the Mishaberach list through the e-news that you received on Friday morning. You can also follow the link in the comments. If you'd like to offer names, please type them in the comments so we can all see them. Please go ahead and begin typing. For those of us here in person, we have an opportunity to say names out loud.
Kay Cummings,
Chris Gray. So we think of those in need of healing. On page 371, we join our voices in the Mi Sheberach prayer. As we think of those in need of healing, we also offer a prayer for those who help in healing, first responders and health workers during this time of pandemic. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. And let us say, Amen. Page 374, we conclude the service for the reading of the Torah on page 374 with Etz Chaim.
Etz Chaim hi lamachzikim ba v'tomachei ha'me'ushar ve'achei ha'lachenu v'kol timotei shalom ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We continue page 586 with Aleinu L'Shabeach. If you're able, please stand and join us.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל,
לתת
לתת
גדולה
גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I invite you to turn to page 592 to offer this meditation silently. We're observing the Shloshim period for Lori Phillips, loved one of Paula Femmerman and Marcia Riedmaster. And today we mark the yortzites of the following members of our congregation: Betty Abelson, Philip Abelson, Doris Applebaum, Larry Beckerman, Otto J. Carter, Rosalind Cohn, Ben Edelbaum, Dr. Joel David Eisenberg, Lillian Effelbaum, Sam Fassbinder, Meyer Franklin, Magda Fried, Harriet Goronsky, Stanford Gilges, Elizabeth Bass Goldstein, Helen F. Kenyon, Sigmund Kaufman, Max Klenock, Milton Lewis, Margaret Viola Pecora, Arthur Rovick, Eugene Rubin, Viola Schmidt, Ron Schafran, Rose M. Smith, Henry Sobol, David Statna, Nathan Weiner, Robert Worthy. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Kaddish Yatom is on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
הוא עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו
Aviva Simons, Director of Member Engagement for our congregation, is coming up now to share with us some greetings and announcements.
Boker Tov. Good morning. And Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much to Rabbi Katapon, Leslie Zucker, and Dave Zucker for making this service possible. We have a few different things going on. So first of all, we will be back here next Friday night, which is November 12th at 6:30 p.m., and we will invite Todd Stetner to be with us. So Todd will share about soldiers, sailors, and spies, Jews in the Civil War, immediately following the service. So all are welcome to join us at 6:30, which is our normal time. And then right after the service, Todd will be right here sharing with us his expertise. So I'm really looking forward to learning from him. And this will be a Beit Midrash, so a house of learning. So we will learn from Todd. This week, though, before that, first you can join Rabbi Katapon for Multi-Access Lunch and Learn on Thursday, November 11th at noon in the library or on Zoom. It is Bring Your Own Lunch. And then 1 week from tomorrow is the Service of Spiritual Renewal for Hanukkah, which Leslie is leading. So you can join her on Sunday, November 14 at 3 o'clock p.m. in person at Village Shalom. RSVPs are required, so please check the e-news on how to do that. If you'd rather not be in person or the timing might not work out for you, it will be recorded, and we'll be sure to share the recording with everyone. Two very last quick announcements. If you are looking for some app support, Dave Zucker, the head of our Bow Beyond Our Walls committee, will be in the Ulam tomorrow and next Sunday, the 14th, to help you with the app. So meet up with him between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., and he can answer all of your app questions. And very last but not least, almost, we are thinking about Hanukkah and restocking our candles, dreidels, and everything we need. The gift shop will be open on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays at certain times up until Hanukkah. So let me know if you have any questions, but you're welcome to come during those times, which are promoted online as well, and get everything you need for Hanukkah. Last but very not least, thank you very much to Mary Crouch Young and Bobby Young for sponsoring this Shabbat's To Go and Egg in honor of their 11th anniversary tomorrow, November 6th. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, today is November 6th. Today, November 6th, Saturday.
Mazel tov. Yeah. We join together on page 626. We sing Ad En Keloheinu. Everybody, please stand and join us. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of each other out there.